is the bird that feels the light when the dawn is still dark, just as spirit is a flashlight that brings strength and guidance into our darkest of times. Hello, it's Alice, and welcome to another video. It's such a beautiful day here in South Carolina, so I wanted to come outside and film a video for you out here. My original plan today was to share with you guys a service that I had written called the Jabberwocky. However, like Spirit likes to do, they said, no, you're not doing that one today. You need to do Faith and Flashlights. Now, the funny thing about Faith and Flashlights is this particular service was written, and it actually is the very first service that I've ever done, during a time where I was in what's called a dark night of a soul. So I was going through a major spiritual transformation and had a situation which I choose not to discuss this on here right now. And we'll get into a little bit of that, and I'm sure you'll understand why when you hear what I have to say as to why that is. So I thought that this one and doneer that's never going to see the light of day was going to be the end, but nope, Spirit said, no, you have to share this one. And I do understand why. When we are in dark nights of soul and running in fear and trying to figure out why things are happening in our lives, we tend to miss things and we don't see the whole picture. And it is through getting through those trials and relying on our flashlights to get us through is where you're going to find your true power, your true strength, and your true healing. So today I would like to share with you Faith and Flashlights. Well, hello. We had to move inside. Our neighbors are clearing out trees on their property and the bulldozer got kind of loud. So we're going to move in here and I'm going to share with you guys Faith and Flashlights. Dear one, how you loved to sit and play by yourself when you were small. From time to time, you would suddenly stop playing and look around the room as if someone was there. You would even stare into space, waiting for something to appear. Nothing did, but you sensed that you were not alone in the room. You were not frightened, just curious. Then, as if it was your imagination, you would return to your play. I am here to tell you, dear one, it was not your imagination. You have never been alone. From the moment you came into this world, you have been surrounded by three incredible invisible beings that have never left your side. They are your spirit guides. Unbeknownst to you, the child who suddenly stopped playing and stared into space was intuitively feeling the presence of her best friends. After I made my choices for karma and soul growth in this lifetime, I knew there was one decision that was not going to be mine to make, and that was who was coming with me. I was assigned three incredible guides for this journey. These spirit guides have been with me since birth and will escort me home safely when this lifetime is over. They will never leave my side, and they are here to assist no one else but me. They are mine for life, here to support and serve me in the plan that I have set forth. As I speak, one is standing behind me, and the others are on either side of me, watching and reveling in the magnificent process. If you could feel them the way I do, they would seem like old friends coming back into your life. This was an excerpt taken from the Dear One Letters, Volume 1. We are never alone, even when we are in the darkness. It is at this time Spirit is closest, guiding us, encouraging us, and leading us. Are you hearing their messages? Are you hearing, I know this is tough, but I have your back? You are safe, you are loved, and you're doing your best. This is, after all, just a lesson. Troubled waters, rough roads, pits and valleys, that's nothing compared to the dark night of soul, where you've lost everything and are just left with faith. Faith in yourself, faith in others, and faith in spirit. What is faith? Well, the dictionary defines it as a complete trust or confidence in someone or something, a strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion. It is during the darkest, hardest times in life that one really learns firsthand just what true faith is. Let's take a look at the trials of Abraham and one of his tests of faith. God says to Abraham, take your son Isaac, whom you love, and sacrifice him. Can you imagine years of Sarah and Abraham trying to convince trying to conceive a child of their own together. The joy in their hearts when Spirit grants them this amazing gift. The promise Spirit gave when he told Abraham that he would become the father of nations through Isaac. Then bam, now you have to sacrifice him? Abraham never questioned, never wavered, despite having several chances to keep from sacrificing his son Isaac. Abraham relies on his faith in Spirit, and that he will fulfill the promises and take care of his needs. So Abraham takes Isaac, they go to the mountain, create the altar, to which his son is to be sacrificed, prepared to do what Spirit has asked him to do. He picks up the knife, takes a deep breath, and just as he moves to do the deed, God speaks. Abraham, Abraham, do not lay your hand on the lad or do anything to harm him. Spirit spared Abraham his precious son. This was a test of his faith and a lesson unto itself. Through all this, Abraham's faith remained strong and constant, and in the end, he was rewarded. I personally have had my faith tested and endured the dark night of soul, not once, but twice in my life so far. What I'm about to share is deep, soul-bearing, and healing. This is my truth, so please understand if I get emotional that this is still a very deep wound. But a message I was guided to share in hopes that it will help another who feels like the world is crashing down all around them and there is no hope. Some of the best teachings come from the ones that we know, who have been through the fire and are emerging on the other side, like a phoenix born from that fire. I choose to spare you the details and nature of this situation. However, it ended up taking so much from us. We've lost family, lost friends, lost our home. My lovey lost his job, and it's costing us thousands of dollars that we didn't have. But we are blessed that I was able to secure a third job, and my lovey was able to find one that took a chance on him. We are blessed that my parents opened their home up to us so we have a roof over our head and food in our bellies while we were struggling to stay afloat. Not to mention their love, support, and faith in us. It goes beyond just the physical stuff. With that, you have the emotional toll. That's where it got the darkest. And when I say dark, it got really dark. I found myself planning and plotting murder, suicide, and when I realized I couldn't do any of that, it resorted to doing research to find someone who wanted to murder for fun, to do the deed so my lovey could then take the life insurance to get out of the fire. I truly was that girl on the edge, looking down, thinking it really isn't that far. I had convinced myself that I could do more good in spirit than I could in the physical. Now I can stand here and tell you everything was fine, put a smile on my face and just go on with life knowing I really didn't want to. After all, that is what everyone saw. The mask I placed around me, attempting to hide and hide from those closest to me. Closing myself off so no one knew just how unstable I had become. How hardened and shattered my heart was. Always questioning, are you strong enough to endure this? Are you strong enough to fight this? Are you strong enough not to let the opinions of others bring you down? Is your faith in yourself strong enough? Is your faith in others to see the truth strong enough? Is your faith in spirit strong enough? This was my lowest point. Then one night my flashlight started shining so bright I was blinded. Flashlights, a new term for our guides, not just in spirit, but in the physical as well. Flashlights are those people and entities that send and give us messages and guidance to get us through our lives. It first started with my physical flashlights. Listening, giving advice, guidance, and encouragement, and yes, even financial help at times. They were always reminding me about the spiritual aspects of the situation, passing along messages from spirit that I just wasn't open to hearing at the time. You know there's a reason for this. There are lessons that have to be learned. Karmic debt is being paid. You signed up for this. All things I already knew but was not ready to acknowledge. Then one night, when I was at work at my lowest, I stepped outside. It was about 3 a.m., in the dark of night, under the clear, sparkling lit sky. I looked up and was just gazing. With everything running through my mind, questioning, how did it come to this? Everything went black, and I saw the web that connected it all. The web was huge, including not just this lifetime, but others as well. I could see each point, but not what it represented. In that moment, all of those messages my physical flashlights had provided finally clicked and made sense. This is when things started shifting. This was when I realized the situation had to happen because Spirit had bigger plans for us. All I have questioned, researched, taught, learned, and the people that I have come and gone in my life, and the path that led me to my spiritual home was all preparing me. Placing the right physical flashlights in my path for this situation and the bigger plan that is to come. With the realization that this was a part of a bigger plan, this is when I surrendered and gave it all to Spirit. I started calling out to my spiritual flashlights, and they would provide us with all the information that we needed that changed the game. We needed money. I asked for it. Bam. A loving friend took a chance and helped. Then a car accident and a nice settlement was delivered. But let's take a minute here and dive in a little bit. There is another lesson here. At this point, we had pretty much lost just about everything we had worked so hard for and had nothing of real value left. With the loss of Lovey's job and our loss of our home and having to sell everything we had that had any value to it, the truck had just become yet another thing to add to the list of things lost. I didn't see it at that time, but this was just another way of Spirit growing my faith. It had taught me that when you ask for things, sometimes sacrifices have to be made to make room for the blessing to appear. While all this was taking place, a wise Spirit mama and teacher told me, the universe always equals itself out. Spirit doesn't take without giving something better in return. It made sense. We have to be willing to let go of things to clear the path for new to enter. Spirit knew the truck was the only thing that could be taken. We only had my car that had payments and a truck that was already paid off. So Spirit chose the truck, thus giving us the settlement to help put out some of the fire. We needed proof as to a person's character. Bam! The information was provided through social media and phone calls from friends who had no idea what was happening. I needed emotional support. Bam! That was there. I needed comfort and strength. Bam! A song, a light loving touch, a phantom scent would ring through the air. Number sequences showed up, and totem animals would appear. This is just a sampling. Everything we needed and asked for was provided. I learned very quickly during this time that as Spirit manifested the messages and blessings that we needed, and the more gratitude I displayed for each one, the messages became clearer and they manifested more often. It was though the more I acknowledged them, the more they came. I found that the gratitude I displayed to Spirit for every message and every blessing strengthened my connection to my best friends. Ponder this for a moment. When we develop a friendship in the physical, we do things to nurture that friendship, make it grow. Why would it be any different with Spirit? I'm going to share with you one of my favorite Spirit messages that came during this time. Although it's not the most mystical and magical, those are stories for another day, but it's one that illustrates my next point oh so very well. My third job at the time was waiting tables at a local pizza place. Well, one night I was all up in my feelings, very low vibration, tired, and just plain worn out. In short, I didn't want to be there. As I was standing in the wait station thinking of how much I didn't want to be there but knew I had to be, I called out to Spirit, please, just help me make it through this shift. Then, out of nowhere, the grill cook started belting out a horrible rendition of Simple Man. Now let me take a minute to explain the significance of this particular song. I always have been a granddaddy's girl, and Simple Man was his song. He was a very quiet man and a man of very little words. You could always feel his wisdom and love radiating from him to those that he loved. Simple Man was his song, one that described him so well, and a song we used at his funeral to honor him. So it has now become a sign for me that he is near. In that moment of the cook belting out Granddaddy's song, it instantly lifted me to where I needed to be. When he stopped singing was just after the verse, "All that you need is in your soul, and you can do this, oh baby, if you try." I knew in that moment my granddaddy was there, reminding me I had everything I needed and that I could do this. I just wasn't trying. Many of us are flashlights to others and don't even realize it. Our actions, thoughts, conversations, and the way we choose to love and live our lives brings our truth out for others to see. Many of you listening to this today have acted as physical flashlights, providing healing, kind words, even though you don't know that something was going down, messages from spirit, or just a simple smile, hello, or hug. In short, be kind, be loving, and be open to shining your light to all you come in contact with. You never know how much of a small thing can impact another. As for our situation, it didn't end as we expected, but the light is shining brighter each day, and it's no longer so dark. And funny enough, I find myself being grateful and thankful to Spirit for the lessons that have been and the ones that are still being taught. Thankful for the stronger connection, thankful for the strength that I have found in myself, and thankful for the bigger picture that is manifesting. Truth and light always prevails. The darkness is just a way of showing us to the light, teaching us valuable lessons and putting us on the right path as we go forth. Think of a flashlight. You don't see it shine, you don't see the light until the lights go out, and then it shines. Romans 8:28 states, "And we know all things work together to those who love God, who are called according to his purpose." So when you find yourself in the dark and not sure if you can go on, or in times of trial, I hope you remember these words. Place your faith in your flashlights. They will light the way. And that, my friends, is the essence of faith, and knowing that we don't walk alone. We are called for a higher purpose, and that no matter what happens in our journeys, dear one, the sun will shine again, and everything is going to be all right. Our situation didn't turn out how we wanted, but it ended in a way it needed to. Although I am still healing, I have come to a place of peace with the situation. But don't get me wrong, the wound is still there. However, I now see the deeper spiritual truths of why this had to happen. At the end of the day, I will always be grateful and thankful for the lessons handed to me and use them for the highest and best good of all. Knowing that secrets and lies don't stay hidden forever. Everything eventually comes to the light. So I just want to thank you guys for joining in and listening. I hope that brought some peace and comfort to some of you. We are in times of trial, and there are a lot of people that are struggling right now. And I'm just encourage you to reach out to people in your life and to seek the help and reassurance that you need. Just know, your flashlights are there, and they're always shining. So look for them and use them when you need them the most. I hope you guys have a good evening, and I'll see you next week.